All right, guys, welcome back. This is Doc Williams with Fitness Tech Tools, and this week, this is a special edition. We're going to be talking about Vayner Media, Vayner Sports, all of that kind of stuff. And once again, guys, this is brought to you by The Toolkit, where you get all your tutorials, resources, mayhem, everything you need to know in the fitness genre. So this is a special edition, Jay. We're out here.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much for. I mean, we're in One Room Media. I love this studio. That's why we had to make it big. We had to make it live here. And thank you so much for having us here.
I appreciate it, man.
So
thanks for letting me come along on this journey.
Hey, man.
I'm excited to be here talking about just what's going on, how much stuff you got going on currently, which is crazy. But really big announcement today, and proud of you, man. Really proud of you,
man. It wouldn't be possible without you. Seriously, I'm not just saying that. Well, we've been working together, what, 4.5 years, something like that?
Yeah, it's been a while.
A long time.
It's been a while.
So this week, we all know in Fitness Tech Tools, we try to bring something new, and we try to bring something that no one else is doing. But today, we're going to be talking about the brand new article that's coming out in SweatRx that just hit newsstands last week. And what we're talking about is the Vayner Sports article that we were trying to make. This was a year in the making planning for this. And so we're going to be talking about it. We're going to be talking about why it's important and also how that actually helps you with your branding and what you need to do to get to the next level. So before we get into the article, where you can also get it at sweatrxmag.com, or just hit us up and we will personally deliver one to you for $17.95 plus shipping and handling.
Oh, man, you got digits like that on them already?
Man. Yeah, it happens. I need money. You just let us know, because right here, if you guys don't know about Vayner Media or Gary Vee, he's one of the premier premier agencies in the space of advertising, marketing. He's worked with Bud Light, Pepsi, the list goes on. And last year, he decided to go with AJ, his younger brother, into the venture of sports agency and really running that.
I mean, Gary Vee's pretty much the man when it comes to social media, just using social media to grow business. But now he's about to be the man when it comes to sports. So it was a good interview, man.
Thanks,
I'm so excited. I don't even really know what to say.
So, it was... I don't even know. Well, listen, go get the article. But if you haven't seen it, you actually live streamed it back in April when we went.
Yeah.
And because if you've seen anything in magazines, it takes forever for things to get done. So we had that done the last week of March, I think. That was supposed to be in the upcoming issue. It took 4 months before it came out. But yeah, guys.
There's the man. Hey, look at that handsome devil.
Man.
Look at that handsome devil on there.
I don't know about that. So, you know what? That's actually my first time, like, in a story that I've written that they put my face in. It's
well, give a little bit of background, because you just don't get into Vayner Media and get an interview with AJ Vaynerchuk. Give a little background about what you've talked about and written about over the years to put yourself in a position like that.
So basically, before this, actually Jay got me the foot in the door to get into radio and then also into a reality show.
Yeah.
So both things. I mean, honestly. So back at Shepherd University, we were there. And from there, I used to pitch the WNBA in different live events. I would say, hey, can we get in here? We're with a college radio station. And they let us in, amazingly. And they let us do whatever we want.
You got to work with what you get, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think they were just so surprised that we had everything organized. And we came out there and it was awesome. So from there, it's just positioning one story after another and getting in front of the right people and just saying, hey, we've already written for ESPN, already written for Breaking Muscle, A&G TV, Muscle and Fitness. So it's just one step after another. And then I always wanted to do something with Gary Vee. I always wanted to do something with Vayner Media. So I remember last June when they were like big announcements, Vayner Sports coming out. Now they put a landing page and they actually put their phone number to call in Vayner Media. And I called them at like 11 o'clock at night. I was all stuttering. I was like, I'd love to work with you. And then I just hung up. Surprisingly, never got a phone call back. But a little while about 2 months later, I was like, you know what? I'm doing all of this wrong. Instead of me just begging for a job or anything like that, why don't I talk about the credentials, talking about that I was writing for SweatRx for 2 years, and then talking about how I can write a story talking about them. everyone loves talking about themselves. That's the key. Seriously. All of our interviews, it's like you ask them, hey, would you love to be on a show and talk about me? Yeah, sure. So Vayner Sports was brand new last year.
Yeah, definitely.
And then they were like, listen, let us get our stuff together, but we'll be in contact. So I hounded them every month until last March. And they're like, okay, the NFL draft is about to happen. Come down. And they gave us a 2-week window.
Yeah.
And
we made it happen.
Dude, oh my God. It was overnight. We had to, we left at what? It was 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. Something happened.
Would have been earlier, but you forgot something.
Anyway, let's
let's
not talk about that. Why'd you have to bring this up? So then we made it there. They were gracious enough, gave us the time. They gave us great stuff, free water that we took later on.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, that's legit stuff right there. That's straight.
I got that Vayner H2O. We haven't cracked it yet. I don't think we are going to crack that. No, that's a memento.
Yeah, man. And I mean, so all about it was just about building relationships to get to that point. And it wasn't just like, oh, we snuck into the office. It's like, no. we had a plan.
Once I got in, I acted like I snuck in. I was going crazy.
Yeah, it was. And then you were threatening to break into rooms when he was having meetings.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't, man.
I'm glad I didn't either. I kept it together that day, Doc.
a little bit.
But that's exciting stuff, man. When you do what I do for a living, like I say, Gary Vee is that dude. And it looks like Vayner Sports is well on the way to being those people in the sports game too. Just love what he's doing, man. I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but I did get to meet D-Rock. That was kind of nice. So shout out to him. And we did get a tour from Tyler while we were in the building too. So that was awesome.
That was great. And there it felt, first of all, what I loved about that office, it didn't feel like they were better than you or they're like, do you know where you are? Like they were so nice. And they took the time and they're like, hey, we've got 45 minutes, but they really took a lot of time. And AJ was just about to have his kid and he still was in the office and did the interview.
Yeah.
I mean, they were really, really nice to us. And from there, it just helped us to see, okay, where we need to go and also how we're going to have to be in this game to get where we want to be in this area.
Yeah.
But it also showed, too, we're on the right track. We were already talking about live stream. We've been talking about live streaming since the last year.
That was really cool, too, to be able to talk with D-Rock and them about live stream. And at that point, I was at the beginning. Not really the beginning, but they're just now releasing softwares and hardwares to make this easier. I learned how to do it the hard way. So I'd rather learn that way anyway. But it was cool to talk with them and then see how they've grown too, because their live streams have definitely went up a lot here recently.
And so everyone's still trying to figure it out. What made me comforted, they're in the premiere and they're still figuring out the software.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're two people spending our own money.
Yeah.
And you more than me to do this.
It's
just
mainly
take a look at it.
Yeah, mainly all mine. Yeah, it's going.
I mean, just look around.
Hey, man, when you see something coming, you got to go all in. If you're not willing to go all in on anything, you're never going to win. So that's just that's part of it. But we got some footage that we want to play for you guys before we really get into the meat and potatoes of the interview. I love how Doc's got a picture of him, but none of me on the interview. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So let's play a little bit of footage that we have. I have all kinds of videos. Maybe we'll just start with a couple of the quicker ones. This is one that we had posted online, and it's titled "Coming In with Fresh Eyes." Maybe you could elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah. So basically, when they went into the sports agency business, just like when they went into the media business, they didn't have any bad habits because they were from the wine business. So when they were able to go into a new genre, they didn't have these preconceived notions that it was always like this. You have to do it this way. AJ and Gary, they went in, they're like, this is what we think is possible. And they didn't have all these other biases holding them down. So that's what he went into.
All right, let's get into it right now.
The way Gary and I look at business, I think we've been fortunate enough to always come in with fresh eyes. So a really good example is Vayner Media. Gary and I started an advertising agency with 0 days of experience working in advertising. And I think that actually served us well. Yes, there was mistakes that we made along the way, but I think not having preconceived notions for how things should be done served us well. And I think the same thing with a sports agency. We have partners that are veterans of the space, but Gary and I like that we come with fresh eyes. I think a big part of it, it's fairly uncommon for a sports agency to be quote unquote full service. Most of the sports agencies, you have either the agent side, the contract advisor, who handles the contract with the teams, or you have marketing agents. And we do both. You know, Mook and Brian are certified agents. Gary and I, along with Justin Giangrande, who's with us, who recently joined us a few months ago, bring a marketing prowess. And I think that combination of having one company that is responsible for your success both on and off the field, I think is fairly unique.
Yeah, guys. So the AJ, the man, just dropping knowledge. But it's so true. When you're in that kind of position, it allows you to be a lot more creative. And they didn't have to deal with such a set budget of what they needed to do. They started with just him and his brother. Then they had a smaller office, then expanded to what they're doing in different areas. But they were able to crush it so well in their business because they had those fresh eyes to what they needed to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So basically from that, he said a lot of good things. And if you get a chance to listen to the whole interview, I would say do it. Look at that video. But two things that stuck out with me when he was talking about building a brand and how that has to do with building a personal brand for athletes, but also anyone. And that was really identifying how you're going to connect with people. There are so many times people are like, well, I'm just going to sell a t-shirt. I'm going to make a hat, apparel, which isn't bad, but you've got to be creative. How do people identify with you? And then how can you make sure you're actually doubling down at what you're great at? Now, we talked about this in the book that just came out 2 weeks ago, How to Hijack Trust. If you didn't get it, it's on Amazon, became a bestseller and international bestseller. But that's what we were all talking about. You have to understand that there are so many different athletes, so many different models out there. If you're just trying to do what everyone else is doing, it's not going to happen. It's really not going to happen. But if you take the time to see, okay, I'm positioned this way in the industry, I'm getting this kind of recognition, let's delve into it. Let's see how I can use the campaign. So what AJ does, and because there are so many different places with Vayner Media, they are allowing their athletes to really express how they want their brand to be. And now they're not just saying, hey, I'm going to do a charity event. I'm just doing an online event. They really make sure if they're interested in real estate, if they're interested in helping out their specific community with a specific problem, they're going to make it happen.
And we actually have a video for that. You led us into the next video, Doc.
About that.
Let's get into it. So this is a part where AJ talks about choosing an agent.
I'm a big believer that when you pick Vayner Sports, you're picking a partner in this business, not just an agent, because most likely they're choosing us because they trust us, they believe in our capabilities both on and off the field, and they truly believe that we can deliver them an expanded network of opportunity beyond just football, whether that's marketing, endorsements, and appearances, or introductions to the right people based on their interests in various industries.
Again, you see how many different things that they can be doing. And so unlike, and I'm not bashing, agents and everything like that, but you have to understand, first of all, do you know what kind of degree you need to have to be an agent, like a sports agent?
No, you have to have one?
Exactly. You don't
at
all.
Oh, I didn't figure that. That was a trick question. You try to get me.
No,
you try to get me, Doc.
I'm sorry.
Come on, man.
But there's a lot of people that will be like, they have to get a bachelor's, they have to do all these other things. They've got to have an MBA. But so many times the agent is only limited by what they know or their experience. So them having Vayner Media in so many different aspects, they can build out brands like nobody else can. And on top of which, agents usually go the more conventional kind of thing after their career is done. But really, if you're out there, you're on social media, and you might have 5 years in the NFL and you're still out there in the public eye, that's just the beginning of your career. So you're not going to need to have to, okay, I can go to a convention and start signing things. I can just do charities. You can go into having your own courses, running your own camps, making sure that you're doing joint ventures with other brands. Because unlike 10 years ago where you had a limited platform, if you're on social media and everything's going, people are engaging with you, look at ESPN and SportsCenter. They're always showing snaps and they're showing IG stories. because that's where their brand is living.
You're right about that. They do.
And that's why they're becoming more obsolete now, because the athlete doesn't need ESPN as the platform. They don't have to be invited on as a guest. And if you think that is still far-fetched, podcasts aren't there, look at SportsCenter last week when they had an in-depth conversation about KD's interview on The Ringer. Now, if people aren't familiar with The Ringer, TheRinger.com was founded by Bill Simmons, one of the prolific heads that started 30 for 30 on ESPN. And now his podcast is more popular than almost all ESPN podcasts.
So basically what you're saying is there was a time when it was like the sports show itself was the most popular. Now it's the athlete, so it doesn't matter where they'll watch it on Facebook, they'll watch it on anybody's page because they're looking for the athlete.
Exactly. So. I mean, and let's see, they said Odell Beckham, he's huge. I mean, if you look at anyone like that, their Facebook Lives, their IG, they rank in the top 10 highest rating live streams. That's over the Olympics, over notoriety and really the upper echelon of the platforms. But these athletes command the stage, and it doesn't matter. Their fans are hungry to see more. So with that, you got to really make sure that you're understanding how you're using the platform. But the other thing is not allowing the platform to run your life, and for you not to realize if that shuts down one day, what's going to happen? You need to be looking at not just attention, but conversion of all of those numbers. So that's really where people are falling short. Now they're kind of getting on this wave, right, Jay? They're doing lives, they're getting on Snap, they're doing everything on IG, but they don't understand how to do a story that moves the campaign to where you want them to go.
Yeah.
So and that's the whole thing with Vayner Media. If you look at that team, they know how to do storytelling.
Absolutely.
And that's it. And not only that, and we were talking about this, and I'm going to steal something from you because you always say this.
Go for it.
Everyone needs a reality show.
Yeah, they do. You do.
Right?
Yeah, without a doubt. I'm telling you.
Because if you're on network television, right? If you're on The Voice, if you're on these shows, they want to show tension. They want to show the ups and downs of your personality. If your personality is in such a way that they can make you a bad guy, they will do that because that's higher ratings. But when you have your own platform and your own perspective with your fans loving you, they want you to succeed. They want your platform to be great. So you being able to show your perspective from your social media account, hands down, that's what's going to convert them to what you want. Now, we're not talking about some kind of gimmick way where you're just trying to sell someone a product that they don't need. Instead, you're storytelling to give them exactly what they need. But you have to still align reality with perception. So you might think, oh, you know what? I just want to be the star of the show. I'm hilarious to everyone. Everyone loves me. Well, if they just want education from you, and they're like, yeah, you're real funny, but we're asking you X, Y, and Z, you need to be thinking about that you need to change your brand to actually give your audience what they want. And the same thing, we're talking about this on Fitness Tech Tools because the toolkit had to go through a lot of iterations. And Jay knows this because he did all the trailers for all of my companies. That's true. I mean, because we started out just talking about branding, but a couple years ago, it's been 6 months. Everyone kept saying, hey, you're the tech guy. You're the IT guy. And I was like, I'm really not a tech guy. I'm not like, that's not really what IT is. But what I found out was people just didn't know how to use software, right? And the only way that we're able to do these articles and everything was we got really good at software. We were really good at positioning ourselves online. So instead of me saying like, hey, we're going to teach you how to brand, it's just like, hey, come to us with your software questions and we can build your story using technology. We're the tech guys to get you your story. You need something built. You need an app. Let's talk about what you think you need the app for. We're going to storyline it, and then we're going to create the technology for you. So it's just that positioning, man.
Yeah.
And, I mean, just like what you do, you're great with visual storytelling, and that's why people, I mean, you showed me that whole cinematic effect with that wedding.
Yeah.
And I mean, when people see that, they're hooked, and they're only going to be talking about you delivering that kind of experience with people.
That's what we like, especially when it's pretty girls talking about me.
It happens, and it's great. Oh, and you know what? We're going to say another thing about this. We said this in another podcast, but the main way they're like, how do you work with Christmas Abbott and all these other people? Because you're not creepy with women.
Yeah, that's
Stop
very
being
important.
creepy.
If you want to work with women and they're good looking, especially, don't be a weirdo.
Yeah.
And a weirdo spans very cross. But yeah, I've had people ask me that too. Most of my clients are women.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't hit on them, so it makes it very easy to work with them.
Yeah, it's like sometimes they're like, how'd you get there? Like, how'd you get in their house? It's like, stop going for hugs. Stop, like, getting that asthmatic breathing going when you
don't
see
need
them.
no hugs. No hugs. No,
man.
No
So,
hugs.
I mean, and that's pretty much what made the difference. So, from all these different adventures, campaigns, projects, it's really just finding out how we can help people, and not just about us and saying like, we're so great. I'm the person behind it, and I'm just trying to get their dream there.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's the whole thing with this profile that we had with Vayner Sports. They gave us the time, but dude, really, if anything, the basic thing that I learned from that whole experience was you had to be a good person. You actually have to really look at how you can help others, and you do this repeatedly. It's not going to happen in one day. Like, we've been at this for a long time.
So overall, what's your overall conclusion of the interview? How do you think it went? How do you think Vayner's going to feel when they officially get a copy in their hands and get to read it? Because you are the first person to put Vayner Sports in a print magazine so far. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. I've looked everywhere to try to find out otherwise, but no, we're the first ones.
Very cool.
I just think they'll be happy how we represented them. And not only that, first of all, the documentary that you made to go up to see it, to see them, I think it speaks volume of the culture that they've built for that company.
Yeah. And I'd like to point that out. There's a lot of things just around the world about our generation. We don't like to work very hard, and millennials are this and that. But yet we walked into a place where literally the entire staff was millennials.
Yeah.
So I find it hard to believe that Gary Vee scooped up all of them.
Yeah.
Like, so it does go to the culture, and you'll see in the video just how different it is, how easygoing, how normal. It was so relaxed in there. You never guess you were in that type of company.
Yeah. And one last thing, that's such a good tie-in. I've been, and you've been, in places where they had to be the man, the alpha dog, like, I'm the man, I know everything, I'm not going to listen. They were so receptive of just new ideas and what people were doing. And I think that's why they can pivot and be so good so quickly, because the egos, if there are any, it's right here. And work is right here because they're on a mission. Yeah. So they're just looking for the best talent, the best perspective, and they're going to listen to make sure that everyone on the team is thriving, and they're not trying to get the credit. Like, I didn't feel that at all. Yeah. So, you know, again, thanks so much, Jay. Thank you for being there. Yep. And we appreciate everyone at Vayner Media, Vayner Sports. AJ, thank you for your time. Just everyone involved. Stephanie, everyone that helped us out to make this possible.
Where can they get a copy of the magazine?
They can go to Barnes & Nobles. It came out on newsstands last week, or you could go to sweaterxmag.com, grab yourself a copy. If you still can't find one, message us. We'll find a way to get you one.
Cool. Appreciate you coming through, Doc. We're going to end this on a very special video we made. We documented our journey to Vayner Sports and Vayner Media. And so we're going to play that video right now. There's a part in there where I get really excited about Gary Vee because he was in the office and I saw him and I was too scared to, I wanted to do like crazy stuff, but Doc told me I couldn't do that because Doc's like the most professional friend that I have. So there's only certain places that I'm actually allowed to go with him. Yeah. So appreciate you having me. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. here with the boy Doc, walking the streets. Where we at, Doc?
Manhattan, downtown.
We're in Manhattan. I don't really know where we're at. Dude, oh, we got to scan our thing?
I think so. Okay.
Just use the QR code.
Oh, right here.
Sorry, we're from a small town. I don't even have a stoplight in my town. I don't. But. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I don't. There's not even a stoplight in Sharpsburg.
Excuse me, Doc?
Yeah.
Just looking for you. Sean,
Man, how you
nice to
doing?
meet you.
Man, I'm doing good.
How you doing? Jamie, nice to meet you. Yo, Doc. Yo, Gary was in there. Gary was in there. Stop it, dude.
We can hang just in the room right here, just for a few minutes.
Cool.
That means wrapping up.
Cool. Cool. Thank you so much.
No problem. Where you guys coming in from?
Maryland.
Being a diehard Jets fan, is it hard or painful? You've got other players now on different teams.
Yeah.
When they're playing each other, do you just try to mask that? Just
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's hard. The way I look at it though is, Walt Powell plays receiver for the Bills. When the Jets play the Bills, I hope Walt scores 5 touchdowns. I hope the Jets end up on the winning side of, if it's a shootout, fine. We don't represent any Jet player on defense, so if the score's 56-49, as long as the Jets finish with 56, I'm pretty good with it. The good thing is all our guys know. Like, we're not hiding anything. Like, Walt knows that when he suits up on Sunday against the Jets, I'm rooting for the Jets. There's no confusion. We're not frauds. But I can still. The good thing is I've found a way where I can do both. I can root for Walt on the Bills to score as many touchdowns as possible, but I can still root for my team.
What are you running? Your Black Magic?
So basically, I'm running OBS,
Yep, OBS.
which is free.
Yep.
So
Yep. We
I'm
have
not-
OBS.
But with a $1,000 laptop,
Yep.
you can do 2-3 cameras with text over the bottom. Just looks really, really
Yeah, it does
professional.
look nice.
And the
No,
audio that you
we've
get.
been looking into it. So you're using this camera and that camera.
Yeah, but you can use these if you want. Like, you can-
We're planning on using our Sony.
What about the food? What's a typical lunch look like here at Vayner? Steak and cheeses, vegetables, like?
Well, obviously there's always different kind of client presentations going on, different organizations coming in that will cater on an individual level. But if we want to head to the kitchen, I'll show you. Actually, it's happening right now. A different vendor comes in every day, and it works both ways, right? Like, people don't even have to leave. I literally never leave the office to go get food. I just buy what's here. But it also gives a big kind of platform for the different restaurants that are coming in, This is Marcus.
Hello.
Marcus can give us a review of his food that he just got.
It looks really good. I'm really excited about it. It's like a good variety.
What's up with the pickle?
You gotta go for the pickle. Why not?
You're not wrong.
They're right there.
That's a good call.
In this
That's a
economy.
good call.
So you grab one of these on Amazon, and if you just type USB capture
Yeah.
HDMI,
Yeah.
and it's going to work better for you guys at Sony's because the rolling shutter you're going to deal with on a Canon, because the Sony's mirrorless, right?
Yep.
So it'll be really clean.
Better than the black.
What are you doing
Magic.
for
The
audio?
Black box I heard gets fucked up from the audio.
Yeah, what
Like,
are you
it
doing
comes in a
audio-wise?
different audio level.
So basically, audio-wise, you can plug like a little USB mixer,
Yeah.
or what I do is I'll just plug a mic straight into the camera and then use the camera's audio.
So this is, I think, an interesting space in the office, right? Literally just a hallway. Like, how do you find a way to make that interesting? I think this is censored yet with light, so walk by, throw off, and this, I think, this little tidbit I really enjoy because it just shows a little bit about Vayner, how there's always things going on that necessarily you might not be in the know about, but having the understanding that there's stuff happening at all times, changing up. So these water fountains don't work at all. And when people are always like walking by and they're like, what's going on? Like, why do we have these water fountains? And now if you look, someone came by and put up like this, like, you know, I don't even know what it's called, but a museum kind of piece of like descriptive, and it says unknown artist, infinite drought, 2017, and just like gave like descriptions to like what the fuck these, you know, water fountains are here that don't even work. And 99% of the company doesn't realize, but like if you like just take the time to like see it, and we saw it and we were like, who put that? No one even knows who the hell put that up there, but that person knows, right? And so that adds their layer to it and just gives a little bit of owning and to the entire company, you know?
I'd have got fired at my old job if I did that.
Right, so like that, you know, it's just amazing that we allow that, you know?
I'm a big believer in just the concept of storytelling. And so one of my favorite stories I ever heard in sports when it relates to recruiting is a story, and I don't even know if this story is true, I think it is in basketball with Pat Riley. There's a story that when Pat Riley recruits big-time free agents, you know, when he recruited a LeBron James successfully, or when he failed to recruit a Kevin Durant, that he starts the meeting by showing up late and then dropping his rings on the table, right? You've heard the same story? Yeah. So that's a story that always resonated with me because that's just such a great kind of like powerful, like straight to the point, and just having that audacity and that confidence.
Just wrapped up our interview with AJ Vaynerchuk, Vayner Sports. Got an office tour from Tyler. Even got to meet my man D-Rock, the man with the plan. Gary was a little too busy for us, but we'll take a rain check. Catch you next time, Gary. We still love you.